Hi, this is another episode of Share the Lesson with yours truly, Charles Zimbilis. And Share the Lesson is brought to you by the Animation Academy on Patreon, where we're doing new and exciting things as far as bringing art education for animation to the world through the venue of Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com, patreon.com/The Animation Academy. Please check out our Patreon site, and if you're inclined, you're welcome to subscribe with us and be a part of all the great things that we have going on on Patreon that we would love to share with you and get you involved with. All right, great. Now let's take a look at the artist that we're going to be focusing on today, and that artist is a very talented artist in the Netherlands. This is Molly's work, and Molly has been a student of mine for some time now. She's been working with us online, and recently she got a freelance gig for a project that was associated with Universal Studios, and this is some of the work that she did for it, and I'm really happy to showcase it because Molly did a great job. And you can see here, this looks like Boris Karloff from The Mummy, and she was really did some nice work. The client was very happy with what she did, and I'm happy to share it here and show everybody the scope of work that Molly is capable of doing. All right, great. Well, this episode is going to be dedicated to Molly. Let me just show you this one other sample of her work. She likes to go to the zoo, and she likes to design characters based on her zoo drawings. She does this from life, and you can see kind of like an iguana, lizard type character that Molly's working on over here. Really interesting how she's handling the design of the character. Molly is really innovative, and she's always looking for different ways of coming up with the look of things. And you can see here how she utilizes that even when she's drawing at the zoo with these actual creatures in front of her as a model. Okay, this episode I think we're going to entitle this Molly's Monster, because Molly has a real knack for doing these really unusual characters, and I've seen a lot of the characters that she comes up with in the time that I've been working with her, and they're very entertaining, very unique, very original. And this is one that she sent my way not too long ago, recently, and I wanted to look at it, and I looked at it, and I wanted to share it with everybody and kind of like go over this a little bit. And see what we can do about improving upon what she had, what she's initially come up with. And remember, what we're trying to achieve with our work is appeal. We're looking for design appeal. So, with that said, let's find ways of enhancing the appeal of this character and see if we can plus it up and build it out a little bit more, and kind of, just push it in a direction where we can kind of resolve some of these issues that we're seeing, and kind of strengthen the character a little bit. Just come up with an alternative, an option to what this character can be based on just thinking through fundamental design. Okay, the first thing I want to show you here might be a little bit hard to see, but what I did was I went in here and I started to, let's get the right brush for that, and the bright layer. Okay, great, we're all right with that. What I did was I wanted to structure the character a little bit more, and I'm seeing some discrepancy in the hand, and I know that this is like a quick sketch that she's doing, but it still has a final illustrative look to it, a final definitive illustrative approach. So what I'm doing here is I want to make sure that everything that we have going on with the anatomy of the character is working as it should. And what I did was I've gone here, and you can see a little bit, I've kind of like enunciated that, and enunciated the connection of the arm to the body. This of course is a point of articulation, and I've shown like where the elbow would be if the arm was to bend, where would that bend occur? And normally what I would do on the construction side of things is I would create an ellipse, okay, when I'm drawing it out. But she's beyond that phase because she's in the final illustration aspect of this, but I'm still going to go here and just kind of like shore up the construction a little bit just for the sake of this demonstration. And you can see also that there's some issues going on with the hand, and I kind of define the actual substance of the hand here to see if there's a relationship as far as the mass and shape and volume of the hands are concerned, and you can see they're a little bit off. So what I've done here is I've got I did a little sample. Oops, we're going the wrong way. I did a little sample here of, let's see, of how a hand should normally be structured. And the thing that I really try and impress upon my students is if you're drawing the hand, then what you want to do is you want to actually establish the shape of the hand first, establish how it's connected to the arm, and then you could go ahead and add the thumb and the fingers to your hand and give it, some finality, add like a little thumb pad there. And a lot of times what I'm seeing with students when they're drawing hands is they don't really get into the hand like they should. They don't structure it properly. They get kind of a little bit too casual with it, and I really encourage you to slow down and structure the hand and find out what that central shape of the hand is, and then get the fingers to wrap around it, okay, to be anchored to that central shape of the hand. So this is what you want to do right here. This is what you want to do, and this is what you want to avoid. You want to structure the hand properly. All right, great. Let's go on to the next aspect of this. Here we go. What I did was I drew a hand shape right here that can be something that is a little bit more consistent with what Molly's doing with her hand over here. It's a little bit, I'm extending the mass of the hand. Here I've just kind of, reduced it a little bit so it'd be, consistent with what we're seeing with the approach that she's taking over here. Great. Now, let's see what we got here. Now what I've done is, one of the things that I have, let's go ahead and kind of darken the line a little bit more so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better. If you can see what Molly is doing here with the body of the character, you see this this arch that she has going on over here. This is what I would call a C curve, and I've kind of shown it this way, like what that body is doing. You've got this C curve that she's introduced here, but the C curve isn't really C as in the letter C. Okay, and what I encourage my students to do if they want to develop design appeal within their concept is to go for what's normally called the S curve, not necessarily the C curve, because C curves tend to create parallels. Like if you have two C's, like you've got a C here and a C here. Without this, see that? You got this arc here and you've got this arc here, and it creates something of a parallel. So what you want to do is you want to get into what's called the S curve, and I kind of went into a direction here where I've pushed the body back a little bit more and putting a little turn into it. And what this does is kind of like, and if he goes into the back of the character's foot, this starts to get like an S wave to it, and you can see right now that that's helping to define the anatomy of the characters, giving it kind of like like a chest area, and then it kind of tapers down this way into the abdomen, and then it just starts to arc this way. And I've gone in here and make sure that that arc is connected to the bottom of that tail there, so we can have some continuity with that shape. It's flowing from the body into the tail. Okay, and after that, oops, we blocked out the head because we moved it up a little bit more, and the problem that I was seeing was that head was just too like pressed into the body, and it wasn't really at a good spot. So I extended the neck a little bit more, like what you're seeing over here, and that way the head has some space between the arms and the shoulder area and the hands and all that kind of stuff, and it can kind of operate on its own without being so compressed into the body. All right, and that seems to help out. And what we're doing over here on this level is just moving that horn forward a little bit more like this, because you've got this really strong line that's going right through the character. And if you can, again, if we look at the S curve, the whole theme that I'm getting into with this, the real thing that I'm looking for is the S. So if you look at it this way, you can kind of see how that S goes from one aspect of the character to the other. All right. And then what I did was I went into the leg and I shored up the leg a little bit more, because this mass is just too beefy. It's just too much. This whole thigh area. It's too much. It's calling too much attention. It's giving too much bulk and weight to the character, and you want to balance it with what you're seeing over here. You want to balance this leg with what's happening over here on this leg volumetrically. Okay, so I brought that in a little bit more. And then I beefed out the tail on this end so that it doesn't, it doesn't so abruptly go into like the middle of the tail here. It's kind of tapering a little bit more. This is, we're seeing that whole S continuing this way into the hind end of the tail, into the back end of the tail, and that makes a more graceful transition. All right, and then I brought in the top of the tail over here so that it would be create like separate itself. It wouldn't just slide into the body this way. It create a little bit of an angle, and anatomically the tail would read against the rest of the character's torso. Okay. Now what I would like to do is I would like to go into this composition. I'm just going to get some of that background color over here, widen my brush a little bit more, and probably let's go to another a simple brush that will give us the kind of coverage that we're looking for. Okay, nothing fancy, just a little round brush that will. And one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the opacity on that brush. There we go. All right, great. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color this in. I'm going to get the white of that horn and color that in, just like this. And then we're going to get the lower part, abdominal color for this character like that, and then get the hide color and pull that up into the head area, and you can already see the difference that this is making from what Molly had before. And let's get this color over here and just kind of fill this in, and then we're going to get this color over here and fill this in, and then we're going to get this color over here and fill in this area, and we're going to get this color over here and fill in this area. And I think we should pretty much have gotten most of the stuff that we're looking for. All right, great. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's get all these different layers. Hopefully this will work out all right. I'm just going to the layer and just going to merge all those layers together, because now I can go this way and show you what Molly had and what, and compare it to the modifications that I made over here. She's still got a, like a fun character, a fun, odd character, but what we're seeing over here is just a little bit more, makes a little bit more sense structurally, and I believe that it enhances the appeal of the character. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get rid of all my little notes. You'll be able to see the character a little bit better. Just like this. There we go. Let's just get rid of all that. There we are. And all right, we'll go into the eraser and just get a few of these little things out of here like that. All right, and this is Molly's revised character that I was able to kind of maneuver based on her fun design that she provided me. Okay, so if I was art directing this, let's say we were in a project or we were at a studio and I was the supervisor, I had the ability to work with my artists and just say, hey, this is what I think we should be doing with the character, to see if we can improve some, like a good thing that you've already got going. Let's see if we can improve it a little bit. This is what I would suggest in Molly's case. Okay, so great. All right, Molly, thank you very much for letting us use your art. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing the Share the Lesson videos, and I want you to please keep in mind, everybody, that the Animation Academy is on Patreon. We are welcoming your patronage. We are welcoming your participation. If you would like to sign up with us, get involved in what we're doing educationally, and if you're not, even if you're not an artist, you're welcome to sign up, because you can support the Animation Academy for mere pennies on the day. Okay, I mean, even $1 a month. We even have that level of support for people who would just like to, just say hey and say that they're with us. So, great. Well, thank you, and we'll be seeing you again very soon. And in the meantime, as I always say, stay creatively productive and keep creating, everybody. That's the way to do it. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. This is Charles and Billa signing off from Burbank, California. Thank you.